Hi, this is part of a video series from Rethink Church where we take a look at some of the most frequently asked questions inquisitive people ask about faith. This video is actually a bit of a follow-up to our video about where we see evidence of God today. I'm Reverend Ryan Dunn, and in that previous video, I talked about a contemplative practice called Ignatian Examen. I wanted to give a fuller explanation of that practice and some more ideas about how to use it. But first, let me say a few more things about contemplative spiritual practices and contemplative prayer. Contemplative prayer is a form of prayer that declutters the mind. It does so by drawing focus towards one specific topic or area. When we engage in contemplative prayer, we draw on a prescribed practice designed to heighten our awareness of God's presence with us. Contemplative prayer sometimes starts with a word or a symbol or our breath. It can also start with a simple question or two. Ignatian Examen is one contemplative practice that utilizes those questions to draw our focus onto the moment and onto God's movement in our daily lives. Ignatius of Loyola founded the Jesuit order of monks in the 1500s. Ignatius recommended the Jesuits practice a daily reflection that came to be known as Examen. Actually, he recommended that they practice it twice a day. The Examen, which now we often call Ignatian Examen, is a technique of prayerful reflection covering the events of the day. It helps practitioners discern God's presence in the events of the day. In its simplest form, the Examen invites us through 5 movements. First, give thanks to God for what you've experienced this day. Secondly, ask grace to recognize sins and then to move on from them. Third, review the day. Fourthly, ask pardon for the day's faults. And then lastly, resolve. What are you going to do next? The traditional model is certainly meaningful. Those who are not immersed in Christian tradition may benefit, however, from some different terminology and points of reflection. So you might ask, first, are you aware of God in this moment? Secondly, what are you grateful for right now? Third, when did you experience love today? Next, was there an opportunity in which you missed sharing love with others? And finally, what might you learn from that? Go ahead and tell God about it. There are other forms of Examen as well. There's a version of Examen for social media, another regarding the natural world. And you're also invited to adapt the movements to your own context. It's one of those cases where the intent is what matters. All right, you can hit us up with more questions at the link in the description, and we'll be back with more soon. Peace to you until then.